I just want to thank you all again for attending another session of our Agency Acceleration webinar series. If you don't know me, my name is Christina. I work here with the Yelp partner team. Today, we're going to be deep diving into Yelp's Leads API offering, specifically how digital agencies like yours could be leveraging this solution to streamline lead management for your clients. So we're going to be hearing from my colleagues at Yelp on the team, Erik and Chris, who are experts in this area. Plus, we'll be showcasing a success story from one of our Yelp Advertising Partner agencies. So if you're not a member of our partner program yet, you'll definitely want to stay tuned to hear about their experience. So I hope you're all excited to learn. Before we get started, I just wanted to remind all of you that if you do have any questions at all during today's presentation, feel free to submit them through the Q&A question and answer section of your Zoom screen. This is different from the chat section, so just take note of that. Make sure that you're putting your question in the right area. My teammate Ashley, who you'll see on the call, and we will be posting answers to as many questions as we can. You might hear the answer to your question presented live, and for any reason that we don't get to it, you're all going to receive a personal follow-up from a member of our team after today's presentation. So don't worry about not getting your question or thought addressed. And then my final reminder before I pass the mic is that we have another $100 Amazon gift card up for grabs to all of you. So by attending right now, if you're hearing this message, you're all automatically entered. We'll be doing the drawing as soon as we're done with the webinar, and the winner will be notified before the end of the day today. So keep an eye out for that. With that, I think we're ready to get started with our host with the most. So take it away, Erik.
All right. Yeah, let's kick this off. Let's jump into this. We got a great topic today and a lot of content to get through. But first off, as I always do, I'd like to thank everybody for joining. And I hope you leave this session with the knowledge and confidence of Yelp's API and how it can help with organization and conversion rates for your clients. After all, like I say on every single webinar we host, that's what this is about, helping your agencies continue to grow and drive results through Yelp support. That being said, welcome to yet another partner-focused webinar hosted by Yelp with the intent to continue to build strong relationships and expand knowledge of everything Yelp related, whether you are a Yelp partner or just joining for fun to learn more about API. As Christina said, I'm your host, Erik Witzig. We'll go over my background here in a second, but first I wanted to go over a quick agenda slide for this session. We'll cover a quick intro of myself, and then I'll pass it to Yelp Strategic Partner Sales Engineer Christopher Davis, who we consider our API expert because I am way out of my depth when talking about API. He will go through a high level of our Leads API and a bit more, and then we'll cover a quick case study, as Christina talked about, with one of our Yelp partners to close it out. Also, we'll have questions if we do have time. So as I said, my name is Erik Witzig. I am originally from Northern California, a little surf town up there called Santa Cruz. I played collegiate basketball there, and then I moved to Scottsdale, Arizona to finish my higher education. And soon after that, I landed a job at Yelp. Been here for almost 10 years. I've done everything under the sun at Yelp. I started as a local sales rep. I spent time as a senior sales manager on the local side of things, and then most recently came over to the agency side as a senior sales enablement specialist for this department. A little bit about me. I love everything in terms of adrenaline. I love extreme sports. I'm a big skier. Can't wait for winter. I love wake surfing as well, and I do consider myself a dad joke aficionado. So do not hesitate to reach out to me on LinkedIn, and we can exchange some dry humor jokes. That being said, why are we here? Before we dive in, before I pass the mic over to Chris, there's a poll that should pop up on your screen right now, but I wanted to start out with this poll in terms of how familiar we are with using APIs. I know we have a lot of agencies on this call. Some may be experts. Some might not even know what API is. The good news is we're going to cover all the above. So take a second, answer the survey. Again, very familiar, somewhat familiar, or not familiar at all. No shame in any answer. That's why we're all here today, to learn more about the API. But without further ado, I do want to pass it to, like I said, our API expert. Looks like somewhat familiar, so good. API expert, Christopher Davis, take it away.
All right, thanks, Erik. I appreciate everyone's time today. My name is Chris Davis. I've been in the online advertising space for about 20 years and joined Yelp about 3 years ago. So just kind of an idea of like what I do for Yelp as the strategic partner sales engineer. My responsibility is to support all of our partners with whatever integration API associated they have. So, and we have 3 APIs. We want to focus on the leads API today because that's kind of where we're headed to as far as Yelp and its future. So there's a lot of different things that Yelp is doing. And we want to communicate to the best of our ability how we can actually help you in servicing your clients and also, pursue the future of Yelp as far as technology is concerned. Fun fact, I lived in over 10 cities across 7 different states. That has something to do with work, something to do with personal stuff, but I get around. But that's enough about me. Erik, you can move to the next slide. So I want to go over the overall history of our leads API. So initially, most third parties, most marketing channels have what we call a leads API. Meta does, Google does, and Yelp launched theirs in Q4 of 2022. So we're catching up. We're making our best effort to make sure that we're competitive in the marketplace. And we wanted to make this available to all of our advertising partners and listing management partners is what we call them. This integration is different than other integrations with a leads API. And when I say that, that means that this is a direct integration. This is a direct API integration within the partner's own infrastructure. So their own platform, their own ecosystem. It's not a plug and play solution. Lots of times what you'll find is that you'll actually be able to maybe create a API key or something or a username and password and plug that directly into another platform and then pull in lead data. That's not exactly what this is. It's much more intricate as far as an integration is concerned. So it's directly in the partner's own ecosystem. So I wanted to point that out. We'll move to different types of iterations of the leads API as we go forward in time, but that's the way it is as it stands as of today. Now, the benefits of Yelp's lead API, and you'll see those 4 bullets here at the base of this slide, is that it provides for a real-time lead notification. So whenever someone submits what we call a request to quote across a business location's profile, whenever that's submitted, we will actually ping the API infrastructure that you've built with our help, of course, to let you know whenever a lead has occurred. That gives you the ability to immediately respond to that lead. So you can read and respond to the lead, and that's going to improve your response times within Yelp, of course, without logging into the business owner's inbox. And that's going to enable you to request the actual business owner's lead submission data, their personal information. So one thing to point out is that whenever somebody submits a lead onto Yelp or request a quote lead, we don't pass any personally identifiable information. That information needs to be requested at the time the lead is submitted. So whether you're the business owner who logs in or you're a partner acting on their behalf, you must request that information because we are very sensitive about passing any personally identifiable information for privacy reasons. So just keep that in mind. And then, of course, once that information is captured on the last bullet here, it allows you to pass that to any CRM you want. Any CRM or lead management platform or marketing automation platform, because they have their own APIs. Once you capture that information, you can pass it wherever you want. And we're not going to, get in the way of you doing that. All right. So next slide, please. So we do have some requirements regarding accessing the leads API. And you'll see here we have about 5 bullets. And so as a partner with Yelp, if you are responding to leads on behalf of your clients, responding and qualifying, then you're a great candidate for this API. If your clients are claimed in our system and advertising, and that advertisement could be something as simple as an enhanced profile, those locations are available to be used. So you can, the Leads API will be activated for those locations. If you're currently advertising with us and you have 10 or more, or at least 10 business locations, and you're managing those, then the Leads API is a great option for you. And then you have to have development resources. And of course, we have a terms of use that you're required to sign. But those are all the main bullets that I would say are that would qualify you as being the right candidate. This API integration, again, it's not a plug and play integration. So it's a 6-step process, and it varies as far as timelines are concerned. So it could take you anything from a month. We've seen people, our partners, integrate within a very small period of time to up to a year. So it really depends on the dedication that you put into it. So it's something to keep in mind. And the last slide here, I'll just go through kind of the lead submission process and kind of the workflow. You notice here on the far left, you'll see that that's the Yelp user. The Yelp user will go ahead and submit a request to quote lead into our system. And 2 things will happen at the same time if the Leads API has been activated. The lead will go into the business owner's inbox. So if you logged into Yelp, you'll see the lead there. But we'll also send a notification directly to the Leads API integration that you have performed within your own infrastructure. So you'll see the notifications occur in real time. So you don't have to log into the business owner's inbox any longer. You can receive those notifications in your own environment, whatever that environment may be. And then you can read and respond to the lead, store the actual lead submitter's information, and then even the business owner, if they logged into their own account, would see those updates. So you're actually working in tandem. So everything's fully bi-directional and interactive. And then once you get that information regarding the lead submitter, again, as I mentioned in the prior slide, then you can go ahead and pass that information to the client CRM. Maybe they're using a third party for scheduling, automation. Maybe they're using a lead management solution. All those things are available to you. So that's the flow. And it kind of gives you kind of an overall view of what that looks like. And again, that you'll notice that Leads API is in the partner's ecosystem. So that's the reason why you want to have development resources, because you're going to build this in your own system. All right. Next slide. Yeah. So I just want to speak to a few different additional APIs that are available to our channel partners. We do also offer a reporting API and an ads or advertising API. The reporting API is fantastic. We have over 100 partners using it. It allows for you to pull down business and advertising metrics directly into your own platform. And we actually have third-party integrations, which have been very helpful for us. So, and you see those 4 partners there: Agency Analytics, Domo, Funnel, and Tapclicks. And these integrations, those are turnkey, meaning they can be set up in a week, if not less than that. But you can also integrate our reporting API directly into your own solution if you had one, your own platform. So you can create your own dashboards of analytics. The advertising API gives you the ability, if you wanted to integrate it, to manipulate, create, edit, delete campaigns. And those could be any of the campaigns that Yelp offers. Okay, so one of the benefits is that you can pause and resume campaigns, and you also can do campaign layering, which is something that it's a little bit more complicated to do in the self-serve flow of our environment. And those integrations could take 1 week up to a few months or so. All right. And I think, Erik, these are my slides, and I think we'll pass it back to you so you can kind of round things out. Appreciate your time.
Thank you, Chris. Yes, a lot of good stuff there, a lot of different APIs to cover. Again, we wanted to do a high level here. So if you do have more questions, feel free to reach out to your Yelp representative, which we'll cover at the end of this call. You might be thinking to yourself, yeah, this sounds great. I like the flow of it, but does it actually work, right? It sounds like it's good in theory, but does it actually work? Well, happy to say that we included a case study from one of our top growing partners who, like a lot of you on this call, are doing great things at their agency. I want to introduce Neeson Leads, who is owned and operated by Kyle and Tristan. two great guys I had the pleasure of sitting down with and talking to them about proprietary tech that they have built alongside our Yelp API. So you'll see their quotes here. With what we built on top of the Leads API, we have 17x increase in clients and a 12x increase in spend under management. 17x increase just by combining in-house tech that they have built with our Leads API. Our customers are converting leads on average 40% of the time and up to 80% in some industries. 80%, that is absolutely insane. They're doing great things over at Niche and Leads. And again, due to the tech that they have built combined with the Leads API that we do offer. I'm able to include some responses that they have as well. Examples of responses to request to quote, with one even changing languages mid-conversation to accommodate for their client. Again, I'd like to remind people, if you came to our past webinar, we did talk about RAQ, but what RAQ and what a consumer search on Yelp means, right? Yelp knows where they are, where they're located. We know exactly what they're looking for in terms of home services. I don't search for a plumber if I need an accountant, right? And then we know they have money to spend, and then they take it a step further by literally asking for a quote from these vendors. So again, great job, Niche and Leads. Great case study. If you have more questions about this, feel free to reach out to myself. Questions. We did a pre-survey for the registration link. One of the questions that did pop up, Chris, and hopefully you can answer this as well. One of Yelp's business requirements for accessing Yelp's Lead API is that channel partners or agencies must be managing a minimum of 10 Yelp business locations. Is this a hard requirement for the API access?
Yeah, great question. So we typically have that as a hard requirement. However, we're more than open to review that on a case-by-case basis. So just keep that in mind. Ideally, we'd like to see that 10 business location threshold met. Yeah.
Great. Another one that popped up that a couple times is, why doesn't Yelp pass any of the lead submitter's personal information at the time of RAQ lead is submitted, and thus pass that information initially via the Leads API and require the business owner or partner to request that information? You touched on this a little bit, but this question did arise.
Yeah, that's a question that comes up quite a bit. So due to privacy concerns, we don't want to pass any personal information. That's the current situation, even in the Yelp inbox flow. So even if you were a business owner just running one local location, you would log in and you would respond to that business, or you'd log in through your phone or using the Yelp app. So, and then at that point, the business owner or the partner on their behalf would have to request that information from the lead submitter. Now, with the Leads API, we do pass some information. And I saw one of these questions come up in the Q&A. So we do pass some information. We will pass the display name of the user, which will be their first name and first last initial. We will pass the answers to the questions regarding the project that they have, or they're interested in, and the zip code of the user. In addition to that, we will also pass a temporary or masked email address, which can be leveraged for 30 days. And then we can also pass a temporary phone number of the lead submitter. So those two temporary values they're both available for a 30-day window. So keep that in mind. We're working, we're really working hard to kind of get as much information in the Leads API submission as possible. But those are the values that are passed. But we will not pass the PII of the user. We won't pass their personally identifiable information. That would need to be requested by either the partner or the business owner.
Got a third question here to round this out. Does Yelp currently have Leads API integration with any third-party CRMs or lead management platforms like Salesforce, Hatch, Go High Level, Service Titan, etc.?
Right. Yeah. Another great question. So currently we do not, but we're working with our product and dev teams to identify those opportunities, and it's going to be an initiative for 2025. Yep.
All right. Love it. So thank you, Chris. Moving on here. Again, next steps in terms of API. I know it is a very complex topic. Chris covered the 3 APIs that we do offer with the emphasis on the Leads API. Stay tuned for more API training, either coming from your reps, their managers, or myself in general moving forward. Connect with your Yelp representative if you have any more questions regarding the API. Again, They'll try to get as much information as they can to you as possible. And if you don't have a Yelp rep, if you're not a Yelp partner yet, and you're interested in becoming a Yelp partner, feel free to reach out to myself or Christina at this email. And for closing thoughts, I will pass it back to Christina.
Great. Thank you all for joining us today. Thanks to Erik, to Chris, to Ashley, and Nation Leads for hosting, presenting, answering questions, letting us showcase your story. Nation Leads, again, like Erik was saying, we definitely recognize and appreciate that anything API related is a complex topic. It's difficult to cover everything to like the depth that we would want to just within 30 minutes. And I can tell just based on the great questions that have been submitted, we've answered as many as we can. But again, if we did not get to your question live or within the chat box, we will be following up personally with anyone who has an outstanding question. Plus, everyone on the call is going to be receiving a copy of the deck and the recording once we have that available. So don't worry. If you are interested in the partner program and you are not a member yet, again, you can reach out to the representative that will be connecting with you, or you can email yelpadpartners@yelp.com for more information. And of course, keep an eye on your inbox before the end of today in case you are the winner of our $100 Amazon gift card. So thanks again. Really appreciate you all spending some time with us. We hope to connect with all of you soon. So have a great day.